All right, welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my tar wrap up to where I'm at so far video. And I have a buddy to help me. This is Vinny. He says hi. There he goes. He says hi. Vinny is about 7 weeks old. He's a baby. And he's brand new to the house. Like, he's been here about 2 days. But he is so friendly and so cute. So he's going to help me introduce this video. And then we'll move on to books. So the previous video walked through legs 1 through 4. And then, of course, I was like, 1 through 5, we'll start with 6. No, we're starting with 5 now. Because the reason leg 5 was a bit different on my Goodreads is because the face-off weekend happened during leg 5, basically. So I didn't actually keep track of which books were for the game and which books were for the sightseeing. I think I logged 1 or 2 sightseeing prompts and my leg 5 book, but everything else was for the game. But it depended on what the prompt was that I rolled for, because face-off weekend this time, it's a 48-hour period where you're all focusing on reading for the same game. And there's a game board, you roll your dice, and it lands you on a space, and you read that prompt. And you can go around as many times as you have time for. We got the prompts enough ahead of time that you could plan for it. You could plan for it, yeah. But what you couldn't do was know how many times you're going to land on that square. So there were some that I needed to pull additional books for, and other ones that I didn't use at all. So, just hi. Just hi, yeah. Yeah, are you cute? Cutest cute, huh? Yeah. Do you have a heart on your foot? You might have a heart on your foot. No, not quite a heart. So, I did finish some sightseeing, and I did finish my leg book. And then I'll show you what the whole weekend of reading extravaganza looked like. As soon as I put this little dude back so he can get back to his dinners. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. So, I'll be right back. Say bye. There's no... Okay. Cutest kitten on the planet. I'll be right back. Alright, so Kitten's been put away. You'll probably hear him. He's got his ball toy. And we'll get to leg 5. Leg 5, as I mumbled at the end of the last video, was a chilling cover. So for that one, I went with another book I'm going to probably reread before I give myself credit for it. But it's not from a book haul, it's from one of my siblings. But chilling cover, polar bear, it looks cold. It looks really cold to me. So this one came to mind when I was planning before the month started. And I actually stuck with my plan on this particular prompt. Didn't happen on all of them, but worked on this one. It was okay. I was not thrilled with the writing. I felt like a good editor could have made it better, especially at the beginning, the first book. Not surprising, and first book may or may not have been successful. Maybe they just didn't invest in as good an editor. I don't know. But it was a 4-star for me. It is an omnibus edition, the whole trilogy in one book. and a lot to take in one weekend. So I will reread it before I send it back to my sibling. But I'm glad I read it. Now I have more references for what's going on, because it does pop up occasionally in circles where people are reading fantasy. So yeah, I'll talk about it more when I do a reread. So yeah, if you are interested in reading this book, this is one where it might be fun as a buddy read. It is a trilogy too, so not everyone has to have the same giant omnibus edition to read it with me. And I will maybe even post a community message thing on my channel about when I'm going to start a reread on this. I started already during that weekend. I finished it. I was like, oh, maybe I should, start it over and see if I like the writing better now that I know where it ends up. But I'm going to start it over from scratch when I do the reread. And it may be a December book because, cold, winter. So if that sounds interesting to you, let me know in the comments or wherever. I'll probably do a community post thing about it as well. So if anyone else wants to join in for reading a buddy read or group read of his Dark Materials trilogy by Philip Pullman. So that's that one. And I did some probably sightseeing. I did maybe 2 actual sightseeing books that weekend. But the majority of what I finished was not for the prompt for the sightseeing. So the ones that I finished, morally gray character and a banned or challenged book. I had banned and challenged books in mind. I didn't really get any of them done in time. This was also, I was getting busy with other stuff. So the only books that I have that I logged between legs 5 and 6 that were like actual sightseeing were Getting Stoned with Savages, A Trip Through the Islands of Fiji and Vanuatu. I don't remember what I logged it for. And Virtually Perfect by Dan Gutman. And I probably did this one as a face on the cover. So just trying to get books in, basically. So these 2, this one I get credit for the Coins for Books project. So 5 cents for Virtually Perfect. Getting Stoned with Savages I've had for a few months, so it does not get anything special. So that was leg 5. And then the leg 6 book I logged on the 15th. The 14th to 15th was the game, the face-off weekend. And I actually ended up reading a book that I started for a sightseeing / game prompt, and using it for my leg 6 book. So it makes keeping them in order when looking at Goodreads very confusing. Because Goodreads is like, oh, but you started it earlier. So it's not in order. And the book I finished for leg 6 I do not have in print. It was a arc off NetGalley called Invisible Helix by Kaigo Higashino. It is a Japanese crime thriller. Thriller in quotes a bit. It was very polite for a thriller, which is not surprising for Japanese it felt very Japanese influenced, at least, for a thriller. I don't remember if it's in translation. It might be. Some of the Japanese crime thriller series are in translation. Some of them, they write their books themselves in English. So I don't know which one this is. But it was really good. It was not very long. I used one of the other cards that we got. We had a total of 5 cards. 2 of them that were the swap out the prompt you don't like with the book you do. And then 1 each of 3 other cards. One of them was just tacking on 100 points to, to whatever your page total is. And I used that one in leg 6 because it was a 288-page book. It's set in Tokyo. Leg 6 was a big city setting. And I was doing a buddy read. I'm still doing a buddy read. Tells you how it's going. With Anna. Book Dreamers Alley, I think is her channel. And we met while we were working together, helping co-host, or in my case, co-moderate. I wasn't officially a host for last month for Kooky Readathon, and really hit it off. She's great. And our time zones are actually very similar, even though she's not on the same continent. So it makes it really fun doing collaborations with her because we don't have to worry about weird time zone math to, be on screen together and stuff. So it's great. And we both wanted to read Ministry of Time, and it's set in a big city, which is great. I've tried reading Ministry of Time already earlier this year, and I stalled out at about page 15. So this time I had made it to page 45 or 50 before I was like, I am not going to finish this in time. It's still not clicking with me. I don't know what it is about that book. I've talked to other people that had similar experiences with it. Like, they want to love it and they just can't. So we're still reading it. I think Anna might still be using it for a leg prompt. I realized I wasn't going to finish it in time anyway, and she was getting a bit behind in her leg prompts anyway and wasn't really ready to focus on it yet. So we are buddy reading it still. I've gotten to chapter 4, page 105, 108. So I've gotten further into it, but it's taking a while. And that was one that was nominated for the Women's Prize, which is why I was trying to read it earlier. So leg 6, after I finished Invisible Helix, then I also had the leg 6 prompts. What did I do with my little blue notebook? Seriously? There it is. I know, I keep setting things down and they disappear. They walk off. Okay, so leg 6, the high points was has of or and in the title, or a book to film. So keep that in mind, and I'm gonna get back to the sightseeing prompts as they pop up, because of course Goodreads sorts by when you put it in that you're starting it and when you put it in that you finished it, and doesn't keep track of the time as nicely as I want it to. So, books that I finished that I logged during the legs 5 and 6. I have the Book of Ruth. It has of in the title, so probably leg 6. And this one, I was expecting to like it more because I read A Map of the World years ago and I loved it. So I have 2 other Jane Hamilton books besides this. This one was just okay. It was just a, family drama, literary fiction sort of book. Reminded me of Elizabeth Strout, only less cozy. So if you're not into that subgenre of literary fiction, I liked A Map of the World, though. I didn't really care for Book of Ruth that much. It was a 4-star for me. A Hatful of Sky by Terry Pratchett. I did not actually log this one on Goodreads because I've read it so many times, but I picked it for my bedtime book for the 13th, 14th, and 15th, because I picked it anyway on the 13th for my bedtime book. I enjoy this sub-series anyway. And then the book with "of" in the title became a sightseeing prompt, and I was still not really through it, because the way I do my bedtime reading is that I'll restart the book where I remember leaving off. So by the end of a couple nights of going to bed, I'll get through the book again. So it actually lined up really nicely. It has "of" in the title. This is one that I am not giving myself a coin for because it's not going anywhere. But it's that lovely, shiny library binding. And so I like this. It will last a lot longer than my paperbacks of Terry Pratchett books, which is what I have so far. If I find more like this, I am totally adopting them because I really would love to have all of them in that nice durable cover. Let's see. Tales of the Peculiar by Ransom Riggs. This one, I've got bookmarks in a few spots where there's like things I wanted to pull quotes from. This is, if you've read, what is it called? Mrs. Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. That's what it's called. If you've read these books, at some point they're referencing a book of children's stories that has clues about their special abilities and stuff. This is the book they're referencing. So Ransom Riggs wrote the book that the kids in the books are reading and, reading to each other and referencing. So this is that one. It's cute. It's fun. It's like folk tales and on the order of folk tales, except they're not old folk tales. They're based on old folk tales, though, some of them. So they will remind you of things you've read before. So I love the idea of a series where they write the book everybody's reading in the book. So that was fun. This one, I need to finish the last 2 stories in this one. Because I had some that I got way past the 50% mark. This is for the game in particular. And so I got far enough to count it, but not far enough to be done with it yet. So there's 2 stories in here that I didn't get to. But I finished like 78 or 79% of the book. So close enough. This is Adaku and Other Stories by Ken Saro-Wiwa. Set in Nigeria. And I ended up with 3 books by Ken Saro-Wiwa. I have his Prison Diaries, and then this book and a novel. So I will be getting more familiar with him. And this one is from a book haul that happened recently. Let's see what else I have that is... See, I did that one already. Children's Bible. This one had some quotes I liked, so the writing is nice. It is science fiction. Sci-fi fantasy sort of literary fiction. a vision of what awaits on the far side of Revelation. It reminded me of Lord of the Flies, but more plausible and nuanced. So I hated Lord of the Flies. I liked this one. It was 5 stars. But it might be more like 4.5 stars on a day where I'm more grumbly. But I did like the writing on this one. This is by Lydia Millet, National Book Award finalist. And this is an author that's in a section I run in the bookstore, the M's. So I will be watching for more of these because I know we had some earlier that we sold. So I will be checking out more of her books. I like her writing. But this is not from a book haul, I believe. I'll have to check on this one. But I think this is a 6-hour book. I'm pretty sure this is one that earns me a quarter. Because I think I remember when I picked it. So there's that one. Boom by Mark Haddon. And this one I picked on Vibes, so this is one that is for the game, the face-off game, and it's cute. Mark Haddon wrote The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which is a fun book about an autistic savant kid from his perspective. So I was curious about what else he did. This is middle grade from the big book sorting project I did at the beginning of the month. So this gets me 5 cents. It was fun. It was cute. It was middle grade. I would recommend it to kids. Beyond that, it's fun. Yay. Virtually Perfect. That one's one that I already talked about that was earlier on. The Get Rich Quick Club. That one is somewhere in here. Also for the game. I'm sure that somewhere in here I've gotten myself all confused too. Like, no. This one is middle grade about kids that decide they want to make a bunch of money, so they create a fake alien landing. And the ending is really funny. So if you're looking for a fun, cute middle grade, it's also not very long. It's something you could read to your kids in not too very long a time. So this one was one of my top 5 middle grades so far this month. I loved the twist at the ending. And that was for one of the game prompts. Penguin Noir by Noelle Davis was a NetGalley arc that turned out to be poetry. Me and poetry, we do not get along. That one ended up being for a sightseeing prompt. I don't even remember what I did for it. Maybe animal on the cover. I just wanted to get it done and out of the way because it was poetry and I hadn't realized it was. I'm not even logged on NetGalley as someone that's looking for poetry. So it must have been cross-referenced in another list. But I got drawn in by the title and the cover art, which is really cool. But if you're looking for narrative poetry, it's like poems that are connected and tell a story of a penguin who's been repeatedly traumatized by her egg being stolen by the zookeepers. And so she's determined not to let them take this one. And tragedy happens, and it's cleverly done. I'm still not into poetry. But it was a 3-star, solidly 3-star, unlike Love in the Time of Contracts. Still not a poetry reader. Then we have An Infinity of Worlds which was also NetGalley and has of in the title. So that one would be for sightseeing for leg 6. The Seventh Veil of Salome by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, which I did as an audiobook. And then we're up to the next leg. No. Then we're into names. So hold on. Figured it out. So Children of Jocasta is another one that was a book with of in the title. So that was another sightseeing for leg 6. And then we hit leg 7, for which I did Angels and Insects. So we'll get on to that in just a sec. Let me do the coins for leg 6 and the game. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 of these are standard 5-cent books from Book Haul. So a dime and a nickel for those. Dime, nickel. And then we have a children's Bible, which I did check, and yes, this was a 6-hour book. So that one requires a quarter. So I have to find a quarter. Yeah. Okay, got my quarter for a children's Bible. And then we can move on to leg 7. So I'm going to put these guys up, and I'll be back with you for leg 7 in just a sec. So I also have 3 books that were part of the game, but that I haven't logged as finished yet on Goodreads. Because again, they crossed that 50% threshold where they would count. And I could have done that on other books that I didn't count, but I didn't really think about it like that until I was on sprints, where some of the team leaders were making those kinds of decisions. Well, if I get to at least 50%, it can count. And I was like, oh, yeah, we can do that, huh? And I should have thought of that earlier. Yeah. So there are 3 that are not finished on Goodreads, and I will need to finish them up next month. Or when I have spare time this month, but spare time this month may happen, sporadically. We'll see. Actually, one of these I might just have forgotten to log. There was a lapse in Goodreads working. I don't know for everybody or just for me or what, but for a little while that weekend, there was stuff going on. And I know for a little while the form wasn't working either. So it wasn't just me. There was glitches going on. So this one may not be on the list because I didn't log it because the internet wasn't working when I was doing Goodreads. Or the Goodreads wasn't working. Help, I Am a Prisoner in the Library by F. Clifford. And it's really cute. It's middle grade. It's younger middle grade, so it's very slim. It's cute. It's got the pen and ink drawings in it. It's one of the things I like about middle grade. They have all these illustrations. Oh, by the way, the John Bellairs books, I think the illustrations are by Gory. They're really good. So that would be another reason to read those. But yeah, it was really cute. About getting stuck in the library. And then this one by Lily Tuck, winner of the National Book Award. I don't know if this book won her the book award. It might have. Lily Tuck wrote an arc that I really liked a couple months ago that was about the Holocaust, following the story of two particular victims, a mom and a daughter, using documentary evidence to follow their story. And it was really good. So I definitely wanted to read more by her. And this one was for a prompt that had something to do with an author you've read before that you really liked. Or I don't remember what the prompt was in the game, but I hit that one twice. So I ended up doing this one and this one. And this one I'm just about 60% in. I kind of skimmed the rest of it because this was before I realized, oh, wait a minute, 50% is good enough for this game. Why am I being harder on myself than the game is? Yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, so I'm about 60% plus skimming the rest, and I'm going to read it properly the rest of the way. Might even do that when I need breaks from the next audiobook, because it's really good. Both of them are, actually, because they were for that prompt where they're an author that you've read before that you're looking forward to this book kind of thing. Yeah. So I do have a few that are going to be carryovers, these two in particular, that I don't get coins for right now. This one I do, though, and I'll have to look and see if I just didn't log it or if I didn't put the date in right for Goodreads. But it is from a book haul that I just did, so I get a quarter, or not a quarter, 5 cents, nickel. And then we're caught up to leg 7. So leg 7 was a godly word in the title. And I had a big book lined up that I was going to read. I did not have the energy or the brain power to do a big book right then. So I did Angels and Insects by A.S. Byatt, because angels are godly. And this one's actually 2 novellas. So it's kind of looking at how insects do their society structure and how humans do their society structure, and also looking at, the dynamics around women during, parts of Western history, being married off without having any clue what sex is or how to do it. So that they arrive at their marital bed having no clue what is going to happen to them because they've been so deprived of information about their own bodies and how they work that they, it's probably traumatic for a lot of women that were raised like that. And it's not something that was talked about for a long time, at least not very well, not very openly or often. So that's kind of the themes going on in this one. And I liked how Byatt handles these ideas and kind of juxtaposing things and letting you figure out how they're connected or if they're connected. And it's my kind of book where, it makes you think about stuff a little bit. So I enjoyed it. It is novellas, but they kind of go together. I can see why they were published as Angels and Insects as a book. So this one would be my godly word book, and this one is slim. By this point, I realized that I got more points by being able to jump back into sightseeing. So going for those fat books, unless I'm really feeling it, unless it's something like the Stormlight Archive where I'm looking forward to it, or if it's something that I'm actually actively interested in right now, short of that, it makes more sense, the way Tara is structured this year, to do a shorter book that you can get through fast if you have a lot of other books that you can do sightseeing with, and if you can pivot fast. I think I learn more about my reading every time I do one of these intense readathons. Like, how do I read so many books? Everybody's got 24 hours. Why are my 24 hours finishing so many more books while I'm also doing all these other things? I think that's one of the things that I can do that I've noticed not everybody is as good at. Just pivoting from you finish a book and wrap it up in your head and move on to the next book. It does not take me a long time to do that for most books. And if it does, I switch formats, switch genres. So I'll switch to nonfiction if I've been reading fiction and it hits me really strong and I don't want to move to just another story. Then I'll do nonfiction or something like that. So for me, the shorter book for the leg and then more sightseeing is probably the better strategy. And I wish I'd figured that out in leg 1 or 2 instead of just sort of starting to figure it out in leg 5. Because I didn't really start getting a lot of sightseeing until actually leg 6. So very sad, but I got there eventually. And I think my team is getting a lot of points from me anyway, even if I could have done better if I'd strategized better. I tell people I may read a ton. I'm not the MVP. I read a lot, but there are ways that I could do so much more. And I'm sure among all the people involved in these readathons, there's some that leave me in the dust because I don't read manga for one thing. Like I own maybe 2 or 3 manga that I haven't read. Maybe at all in my thousands of books in the house. At all. And there's other things that I just stubbornly, my brain doesn't want to read them. I just don't. That would make my numbers better for readathons. Anyway, moving on. So for leg 7, the highest points sightseeing was a person's name in the title. So there were some that I'd already read for other things that would have been great, but I did Shirley by Susan Scarf Merrill, which was pretty good. This one's one that I do get 5 cents for because it was part of my Bag of Books book haul. And then I did, let's see what else. Tilda is Visible by Jane Terra. That one actually I finished just before the next prompt dropped. That one was in an audiobook from the library. Tilda is Visible is by Jane Terra, and it is kind of a genre blend of self-help and kind of sci-fantasy literary fiction. So interesting blend about women that get used to putting themselves lost so much that they're becoming invisible, and how they might regain their visibility. So it has a lot to think about, and it has Tilda as a name in the title, which was really handy. And then I did A Spell of Murder, which would have been for a lower points sightseeing. I don't remember what I used it for, but that one was book 1 in the Witchy Cats series that I did book 4 of earlier on. I don't remember if I talked about it, so I might need to check and see if I logged that one too. I know that when I finished books, I logged them in the submission form, but doesn't always make it to also logging it in Goodreads. And some of them, I think, like that one, I think I just didn't put the dates correctly. So it's not showing up in my list, How dare it? Let's see if there's anything else that I did for a name in the title. I know I ran out of time partway through. I was trying to finish Jamie by Laurie Foster because it has my name in the title. Jamie is a dude. I don't like books where Jamie is a dude. And it's not really my thing, so I might just DNF it and send it on. I don't get any coins for it. I didn't reach 50% on that one, but I am not into it. I started and I think got through 50% of the third rule of time travel. If I did, I logged it, but I don't remember now if I did. And I got to, actually I finished A Crack at the Edge of the World of in the title. So this was another sightseeing that I did. For leg 7, I believe. Yes. And then we got to leg 8. Leg 8. I used another of my cards where I get to pick whatever I want to read. Because, see, I had this arc that I might have even been one I made a wish for. Because a lot of the history books, they don't have them available and you have to make a wish for them on NetGalley and then they grant your wish. It might have been one of those. But in any case, it's a 5,000-year history of Iraq, which was really interesting. But I ran out of time on it in the NetGalley site. And this is one that I ran out of time for before I figured out using their new reader that if I open it, then I have like 50 days from when I open it. Because I was using the download option and an Adobe Acrobat offshoot that they made for Chromebook that allows you to open them. When they changed the formatting in NetGalley, they no longer open on my computer. So some of them that I downloaded, I'm not able to re-download them if they expired because they don't open anymore. And I don't remember what the case was for that one, but I couldn't finish it in a NetGalley format. So I found it as an audiobook and was able to finish it for leg 8 and use my Rift Strider card. That's the second Rift Strider card. And it was a 576 page book. So it actually was decent points as well. So now we're up to the present. The high points words or high points sightseeing prompt is words with a time word in the title, but a time of day specifically. It's like midnight, night. I did The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul, which was my bedtime book last night, and I finished it this morning. Tea time is a time. It's roughly between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, so I did that one, and I'm finishing up The Midnight Feast by I always forget her first name. By Lucy Foley. I always think Lisa Foley, but Lucy Foley. So I am about an hour and a half away from finishing that one, which is fun. It's got kind of a dreamlike, creepy vibe. Maybe not as seamless as one would like. The creepy vibe doesn't quite nail it. After some of the chats I've had with one of the other kooky hosts last month that is a publisher and editor, I've been thinking about why do I not like this? Because she does the kind of editing it's not spelling and grammar. It's, why is it not hitting the way it was intended to? Is it the structure of the story? Is it that we gave away too much information, or we promised something that didn't happen, or that kind of thing? So Now I've got those conversations in my head when things don't quite nail it. And there's something so far for me that's not quite there in the Midnight Feast. But I'm liking it. It's probably 4 stars. So that'll be the next one I finish. In the next 2 hours from now, it'll be done and logged. If I had to make a bet, I would say that we're going to get the next leg prompt tomorrow. But when is anyone's guess? Because we did have one that posted literally like half an hour after midnight the following day. So, yeah, for my time. So they're all over the map as far as when the prompts happen. So, anyway, that gets us to the present. And I'm enjoying Tar so far. It's been fun. I definitely will be doing it again next year if we have it again next year, which I'd imagine, barring something dramatic happening. It seems to be something that everybody enjoys doing, and Bree's good at it at this point. And it takes her, it's got to be hours and hours, like hundreds of hours of work to put together what she does. And it is one of the more impressive readathons out there. So huge kudos to her for her work. It's a fantastic event. And we have 7 days left. So we have 2 more prompts left to go. And I will do a wrap up for the last 7 days at the end of the month. I'm also going to be doing a video for my TBR for next month. I'm doing Tarot Readathon as my readathon next month. I'm not that into tarot, but I liked the readathon last year. I tried it out just to see what it was like, and I like the people, they're fun. The fact that I'm way too practically minded to really go in for much tarot didn't turn out to be a problem. There are a lot of people that just like the drawing a card and the prompt goes with the card kind of thing. So yeah, I enjoyed it enough that I'm doing it again this year. I've been putting together my TBR while listening to audiobooks. So that's been fun. And it's a lot of prompts. So if I want to do a full TBR where I have something for all the prompts, it's 4 suits of prompts, 1 prompt per card, 52 or something like that. Lots of prompts. So I'm still working on that. Some of it requires reading blurbs about the books and things like that to find out like what the plot points are and stuff like that. So it's taking a little while. But it's not hugely competitive. It is teams based. There are points. But the atmosphere surrounding it is not tar. It's low-key, casual, fun, and self-care oriented. So it'll be a good follow-up to this one. And then I'm also trying to get my NetGalley in order for August, where I will be involved in ARC August, which is hosted by Vanessa. And that's Read with Dr. B. And I will talk about that more probably at the end of this month or sometime early next month when the announcement video has gone up and we're free to talk more about what is coming up in August. But that will be fun, and my NetGalley is already getting overstuffed in anticipation of August. So I'm trying to make sure to keep those arcs working into my TBR for all the sightseeing and all that, just so that I don't get so many backlogged that it's impossible. So yeah, should be fun. I think the next book I'm going to be reading after the Midnight Feast is going to be for the not quite top tier side quest or sightseeing prompt, which is a book with 5 or more words in the title. So I have this one by Neil Gaiman, Odd and the Frost Giants. And then I have a few others sitting around here. Oh, and I need to give myself another dime in my rewards thing. Actually, I need more than one dime because I haven't done that last batch either. So for leg 7, I've got the Crack at the Edge of the World and Shirley, both of those. So that's a dime's worth. Dime. And from last month, I did finish 2 books after I did the I'm going to get coins for books thing that I didn't actually do a video about doing the coins. So these 2 books I finished last month. Brick Lane by Monica Ali and Amy and Isabel by Elizabeth Strout. Both of these earned me 5 cents. So that's a dime total. And now I'm caught up. So we'll revisit the whole coins for books in the next video when we talk about the last 2 prompts worth, or 2 legs worth of tar. And I will see you guys in about a week. Or somewhere online. I may pop on screen with somebody, or who knows. Happy reading, everyone. Let me know how your tar progress is going in the comments. What have you read for legs 5 through 8 so far? Don't give away any secrets that you don't feel should be out there yet, because we're still mid-competition. But, yeah, let me know how it's going, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!